completely removed. There's some videos out there on how to remove the wing, so I'm not going to bore you with that process, but I've taken it all off. We'll clean up all the little stained areas there and clean it up real good before we put it back on. But one of the things we're going to do first, here are the two switches that tell you whether it's engaged or not, and you can push these. They still function. Ooh, but now it went off. What does that mean? I wonder if that means it's still going or not.
It does.
It's blinking red. Yeah. Okay, so we'll presume that it's still going. But those are the switches. This is the power for the motor. One of the first things we're going to do is test that the motor is working. So we see. So taking this second one apart, I noticed on the first one I took apart that I can get it to go up manually. I'll show you this real quick. I can hold it and pull and it pops up, but going back down, not so much. I noticed on this one, this bottom piece here is broke. So there's a bit missing. I'm gonna have to get a different way to set up this camera. But there's this bit missing right there and over here. So these are glued in, and both of mine have broke off. So it needs to all be glued back together, sat in there. That way it'll pull the ram down when it retracts, and it's not doing that because they busted. So that would explain why it wasn't going down, at least. Going up wouldn't do that either. So just something I found. If you find that these are popped out or they come out, well, they're not supposed to. So glue that crap back in. Picked up some lithium grease, splooging that on the interior of these shafts, these shaft casings, and then we'll get some of it on the actual pull cables. One of the things I did here is, since these ends were broken off, I used a two-part process that I had available, which was hot glue and super glue, to put them back together. And then as soon as I get here and get this done, I was thinking, oh, I have some of that two-part epoxy that I probably should have put together as well. But they are back together and somewhat snug, so long as they stay lubed up and don't get sticky again. They shouldn't pull themselves apart, I hope. Pop this back together. I really don't want to go through the process of showing how it all went back together. It's just a matter of cleaning it out, putting grease back where the grease clumps were, and then reassembling it. One thing I did do, you'll notice, I took out that wiring harness that has those sensors in it, so I could go ahead and assemble it all on the bench and test it. This whole harness was easy to take out and will be easy to put back in, so you'll be able to see that, no problem. Put these wires back on, then I'll apply power probably directly onto the motor. There's no reason to look for a pinout. One of the things I goofed on was the springs that go in on these shafts, the cable shafts. There's a spring there that provides some tension. This one over here flopped out somewhere. Can't find it. I just put it back in without it for now. See how it operates. It's going to be better than what it was before because those plastic pieces down there were busted. They're all in now, and I can pull those shafts and it'll come up and down. And greasing everything up else up helps a lot. All right, I have nobody here to help me, so we're setting this in the back. Got it plugged up. Just gonna turn it on, hit the switch, and see what we got. Hey, that's a good thing. It went up. Holy cow. That actually worked the first time. This is great. So got a little rip there in this sheathing that goes around the wire, but it all goes into place pretty easily. It's the main line. We've got power for the motor, for the fan, something else for the fan right there, I do believe. And then this wire all comes up and is going to be for the light that is in the spoiler itself. So now this whole assembly is going to fit up into this cavity, and then ideally I can make sense of which screws I used to hold it in there with. It shouldn't be too tough. But that should be it. Does everything else look alright? Pull this out. What do we got here? Yeah, we want to go this way with it. Which means, bear with me while I try and hold a camera and do it all at the same time. I gotta find a different way of doing this. There we go, you go this way. Bravo. Jump back, goes down here like that. Yeah. It's kind of tough to remember all this. I probably have pictures I took. Alright, so this is gonna fit up in there. Bring that around and down. Alright, I gotta put this down. Okay, got the wiring put back in place. Back in there, comes up. That one's the light. Forgot about that. All these bolts, Allen bolts, there's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 that go into putting all this back in. And that's it. So the rest of it now comes up here. Ah, hell. Gonna have to open that back up. Anyway, all that I have setting over here on a hay bale appropriately. Have to find some place to put this, probably on my bench. Let's see here. Okay, got the back open, put on our little air intake unit there, which I may, yeah, no, that's right there. So next is going to be this baffle. I call it the accordion. Mine's actually ripped, so I'm going to have to replace it at some point. But for now, we can get it back in place, and it's pretty straightforward. Sets down there, goes into the holes where you can see the little silver pins come through, and if you were safe in pulling these clips off, they will simply pop right back onto those pins. So you want to push from one side and then push these up, and they'll retain it on the bottom end. So I'll do that and we'll come back to that. Alright, so we got the clips in. There's one missing that broke when I was taking them off, but the rest of them worked outside in, and that made it all come together. So next thing is this plastic piece that houses the light. It's going to get screwed in with the remaining Allen bolts in the bottom end, and then you can see these slots that match up with these hooks that go into the slots that will hold the plastic top part of the spoiler on, and we'll have some small bolts that'll go through and go into the pistons, the units that will actually push the spoiler up. So that, and then this will also pop out, go into the light, and that will snug in right there. And there is also another spot where we have, where was that? I think it's up here. Yeah, right there. So we'll show you that when we get there. No big deal. All right, we have the plastic in place. I had the air device on backwards, and I'm like, why isn't it laying down flat? And I had this point going up instead of down, and fix that. So easy enough. And then the band, the metal band that goes, it holds the two 10mm bolts that connect the plastic to the rams, and then just this little plastic tie that holds down the wire for the brake light. Now I'm going to lift it a bit, and we're going to put on the cover and use these little thingy majigs here, these Allen wrench with some, you know, custom flange that'll go into there and hold the plastic part of the spoiler in place. Then I've got some grommets to put in. I need to find out where in the hell these things went. Wouldn't hurt. Up here somewhere, I don't exactly recall. So hey, no parts left over. You didn't work fast enough. Alright, see what we got. Okay, so before you put the plastic top on, it's a good idea to go ahead and get these Allen flanges put in first. The openings on the plastic top will pop right into place, so you can tighten them through the holes there. I did find the spot where these need to go are here. They will pop through. It actually is the final piece to the baffle. To pop them in from the bottom, maybe. There we go. It's coming through just like that. And then you'll just, let me get a light on here. There we go. You can just pop the little pin in. Bingo. Holds it in place. Get the other one over here. This is so much fun. Nope. Starting to push that through. I'll fix this, get this all set up, and we'll go from there. Holding these things suck. Okay, so you can see down in there the Allen flange, you want to make sure and get these clips onto the edge. That means to get it, you want to get it seated all the way up in the front well. So you set it on, you push it forward a bit, get all this set in there correctly. The Allen wrench flanges will press down and crimp on the back end and hold it in place for you. Last thing is our little grommets here. Pop those into place. This part I can do holding this damn thing. There we go. What I should have ultimately done with this was painted it before putting it back on. I have to replace this rubber baffle anyway, so that'll be what I'll do when I do get a replacement for that. So that is it. I think I just got it finished. This is great. So let's see, lift up. Everything looks good under here. I undid this so I wouldn't just be burning wattage. It's cold. Car hasn't ran in probably 4 weeks. I don't want to have to jump the damn thing. There we go. Let there be light. Oh, I think that's in there all the way. Alright. Let's get our Amazon packaging out of here. There's a motor! Alright. I'm looking okay here while I got this up for kicks. I think I got everything right. Alright. Oh boy! Key goes in. Let's see what we see. There's up. Hey, that is much better. When I initially got it, this end here was kind of askew, like it was popped up and shifted a bit. Now it is in check. Let's see if we can do this again. And up. We did it. On to the next project.